Okay, so here we are in Jackson Heights at Ricky's Cafe, and it's election day. So election day, you can tell everybody's really nervous about it. The people don't want Trump, or they don't want Harris, or they do want Harris, or they do want Trump. And for me, it's been a year of starting my congressional race against Jamal Bowman, and then running against AOC. And now we're waiting to see the results. And we're going to have an answer hopefully sometime tonight. Hopefully it'll be peace and calm. And then people are going to start to look at what we call the local elections, the municipal elections, or the off-cycle elections, which are, the primaries are going to be June of 2025, which means the ballots will go out in early April, which means petitions will go out in March. So, politics never stops. We're going to have the election tonight. We're going to go out and do some street interviews and figure out what the people here, are thinking about the election. And then pretty soon everyone's going to turn their attention to the municipal issues starting in June 2025. So we're really lucky today because as a guest on our report, which we're calling the Public Advocate Report, we have Richard Vaga. Richard is known as Richard Vajay. Come on in, Richard. Richard is known as Rabid Rich.
Hey, how are you, folks?
He is a regular fixture.
Formal introduction, Rabid Rich News.
A regular fixture in Jackson Heights.
Much to the chagrin of many people, but that's okay. I have my following.
So let's just start with the basics, which is what's the temperature of Jackson Heights on election day as it relates to Trump versus Harris?
Well, if you look at the demographics, Jackson Heights, depending on what data you read, is 58 to 62% Latino, Latinx, whatever people say. Hispanics have been leaning towards Trump as of lately, and I think that comes from basically the family values and the work ethic that they have, and they see something in him, and I'm not going to comment on him. Jackson Heights has a lot of diversity. It's one of the most, it is actually, I think, the most diverse district, zip code. We're in District 25, City Council. That's Shakar.
So
the temperature?
Yeah, the
temperature is more than likely leaning towards Harris. Not in the numbers you would think. We have a very active, some might say radical, aggressive element in Jackson Heights, and I respect their positions, I respect their policies, I don't have to agree with them. They turn out and vote. There's a lot of people that are just on the sideline. And then, of course, the most reliable voting bloc would be the elderly. Right. Today is a beautiful day, so there was nothing, and by the way,
it's a fantastic day.
They said up to 40% of the votes are in just on mail-in voting.
Right. Early voting and mail-in voting.
Now, the problem is there's going to be some overseas controversy over the next 2 days as the overseas ballot comes in.
Well, what do you think? What are the other votes that are taking place today besides president? What are the significant ones in Jackson Heights?
Well, there's on the ballot I saw. I mean, I was in a hurry, and one of my papers wasn't scanned. You have State Assemblywoman Catalina Cruz. Not always on board with Catalina, but she's a sweetheart, and she's sincere, and she's authentic and well-educated. And then you have State Senator Jessica Ramos, who early on I had differences with, but I do recognize her fortitude, and she's got some juice in Albany. So Ramos is going to win, Catalina Cruz is going to win. In terms of the vote here, just hold it.
I'll just hold it like that.
And in terms of the vote,
good thing I'm not in the TV
on
business.
The presidential, like I said, it's going to be Harris, but not as much as you would think. It's going to be 58 to 42, which is actually pretty good.
Okay, so let's, we were talking earlier about the 2025 election. Now you're going to have the mayor, you're going to have the city controller, you're going to have public advocate. I'm running for public advocate.
Right.
The entire city
and
council.
I'm supporting Marty. Let's make no mistake about it. I'm not shy in that. I wish he would relax a little, but other than that, he doesn't have to wear red glasses and a silly hat and do this, which is, you notice I put it in a certain order. Rabid, Rich.
No, that's not for me, but you care about your community, which is
I've been in Jackson Heights 44 years.
All right, so what's the tone as it relates to the city? Because we're going to have the city elections right around the corner. We're going to be, printing ballots in April. People are going to be, signing petitions in March. You have Eric Adams, you have controller,
Right.
you have public advocate, you have the city council, you have the borough presidents.
Right.
What do you see the tone of this community, and how do you see that playing out in these elections?
Actually, Mr. Dolan is running for public advocate, so it's a citywide position. And I've had repeated conversations with him, and I feel very confident in my support of him. I think for the average New Yorker, this comes down to trust. They have become so disenfranchised with their government, whether it's the mayor's office, whether it's this commissioner, whether, Adams here, how many Adams were in this administration? What's going on? I mean, there's at least 3 or 4 of them.
Speaker Adams, too.
Speaker Adams, I mean,
Right.
oh, come on.
Well, they're not related.
No, we know they're all not related, but the relationship
To be fair to Speaker
the
Adams,
police
no
commissioner,
family relation.
Yeah, the relationship between the police commissioner and this
The
other
Banks, you
brother.
mean, the Banks brothers.
Yeah, the Banks brothers. What's going on? This is a clown show. So I think, and then you add to that the general distrust nationally with the Supreme Court. And
Right.
if this country can't even support or believe in the Supreme Court of the land, do we really think they're going to trust local politicians? So what Mr. Dolan, I would hope, and I'm not saying I've had this discussion with him,
Right.
earn the trust, earn the confidence, build the platform, build the brand. He doesn't have to wear these red eyeglasses. He's a very conservative guy.
Right.
He loosens up once in a while. But
We're
you
in the
have
blue,
to-
Democratic blue,
Yeah,
you know.
you have to earn the people's trust. If you don't have their trust, or
let's-
you can't build it, you're in trouble.
Trust is definitely number one. Like when you get into think citywide, we know of Jackson Heights. Parts of Jackson Heights are relatively affluent. Parts of it are pretty tough.
How property values have gone down, by the way. Look at
Property values have gone down. Well, they were up for a while, and now they've come down.
Yeah.
But like across the city, after trust, what would you say is an issue or two that people care about?
Well, it's not unemployment because New York City's unemployment is fairly low. What is
Right.
it, around 5.8? I mean, it's not great,
Yep.
but it's not bad.
The city is busy
Food
again.
insecurity is still out there, surprisingly.
Right.
But on the food insecurity side, I'll only say this. Some of those people that are benefiting from, the kindness of others, very small portion, but it's not acceptable. They might be double dipping on food access.
And
But-
people don't like to see that.
No, because if I'm giving you, social benefits for food, and then, but I'm not standing on that line for 90 minutes at a food
Right.
pantry. But I'll take it back. If you are standing on a food pantry line for 90 minutes, you do need it. You do need it.
All right, so listen, this is great, Rich. We're going to just switch gear for a second, and we're going to
All
turn
right.
Rich into the interviewer and
Okay.
me the questioner. So give us a second here.
So now you're interviewing. Are we still
Yeah,
on?
why don't you come here?
Okay.